Hi everyone, Michelle here. Today I'm going to be doing a review of 50 Shades of Grey. Now this is part of a trilogy which includes 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Darker, and the third book, 50 Shades Freed, which I do not have with me. And this is written by E.L. James. Now I am a really avid reader. I love to read all the classics. My favorite books are probably Wuthering Heights and Great Expectations, so if you've read those books, you know that I am a bit of a romantic, so it goes along to say that I also love all types of romantic books. Now, I'm not normally one to grab a book from the adult erotica section, which is where you might usually find 50 Shades of Grey. That is, if it weren't a bestseller and on every book stand across the country right now. But what also might surprise some people is that I'm a lover of, written for teenagers, really not for adults. One of those being Twilight, which everyone has heard of course. It's been it has a huge fan base across the years, and it also has a lot of criticisms. And what a lot of people don't know is that 50 Shades of Grey is actually based on Twilight fan fiction. Now, that might be a bad point for 50 Shades of Grey if they didn't know that the reason Twilight has criticism is basically because its writing style is very juvenile and the characters are kind of unrealistic. But what I love about 50 Shades of Grey is that I don't find the writing style juvenile. I find the characters very relatable, and I really end up liking them in the end, as well as their romance. So for those of you who haven't read it, it's not a supernatural novel like Twilight. It's basically a story about Anastasia Gray, who is kind of a shy, quirky college student who's said to be very beautiful, though you never really get a physical description of her. And she's just graduated college. And then the other main character is Christian Grey, who is a billionaire, who's also a piano player and pilot and all these different things, and he's also insanely attractive, of course. But the thing is, his personality makes him really likable and really relatable. You get the image that he's this boy that may or may not have been abused or something. You don't really find out all that much in his childhood, and he's come back and become this billionaire, this hugely successful billionaire who wants to give back to children and prevent world hunger, to give back for the terrible things that have happened to him. So in that sense, you really end up liking Christian Grey, and while sometimes you hate him for the things that he wants to do to Anastasia, you develop a sort of community with him. I don't know. And Anastasia Gray is the same way. Now, unlike Bella in Twilight, she's not this helpless girl who just, is basically a blank slate for you to project yourself on. She's this girl that you can easily fall in love with. She's very quick-witted, she's very smart, she's beautiful, and she's not really afraid of standing up to Christian Grey, even though she knows his dark past and all of the submissives that he has had in the past. So I have to say that that is probably one of the main reasons that I love this book, is that you just really want the characters, you just really want to root for them. You want them to get together, you want them to be happy, and they are somewhat relatable despite the fact that they are on two opposite sides of the world, and no matter who you are, probably one of the characters seems a little unrelatable to you. The other thing that I love about this book is the fact that their romantic connection seems so real, despite the fact that they are like two worlds apart. You can really get a sense for why Christian is falling for this girl. Not only does he think that she's going to be a good submissive, but he also loves her, the fact that he questions what he says, and the fact that she doesn't want to just be a submissive and she does want more. If I had to say anything bad about 50 Shades of Grey, I would say that there is a little bit of repetition of certain words. They use the phrase 50 shades a lot. They'll refer to her blushing 50 Shades of Red, or Christian Grey being 50 Shades of effed up, and excuse my language. And yeah, it's kind of repetitive. You don't know if that's really the point, or if the author is just, she really likes that phrase and she just uses it a lot. Actually, the other thing I was worried about was that since it is so like erotic in nature, I was like, oh well, darn, they're never going to be able to make a movie out of this. But apparently they are making a movie, and a lot of people are hoping that the people that play Bella and Edward in Twilight will reprise their roles in this spin-off, which I don't really see happening, but I mean, I guess we'll have to see what happens. So thank you everyone so much for listening to this review. I hope that you will pick up 50 Shades of Grey at your local bookstore. It is a really great book, and I think that you'll find it very compelling. You'll love the characters, and you will definitely want to root for them. And one thing is for sure, you definitely will not be able to stop turning the pages. So I hope you all have a great week, and thank you for listening.